What's up guys, Damian Keyes here, welcome back to the channel. So today is a big one, so get your pen and paper because today we are looking at 10 5-minute hacks to grow your Instagram. We've all been there, we want to grow our Instagram, we want to get more numbers, we want to get more engagement, we want to get more people seeing what we're doing. But for some reason this algorithm just won't go away, and therefore when we post we still see the same old numbers and probably a lot of inconsistency. Sometimes you post something and you go, oh, this is pretty good, and sometimes you post something and go, why did that not do very well? It is what it is. Well, today we are going to start the mammoth journey of growing your Instagram. And also, if you're bored of people saying things like, you've got to make more engaging content. Yeah, I know I've got to make more engaging content. The problem is I don't have the talent of Peter McKinnon to be able to make photos or videos that are going to go viral and take over the world. So therefore, what can I do outside of the talent? And also, I'm a busy guy. So what can I do quickly, 5 minutes here and there throughout the day to grow my Instagram followers? Okay, so understand how we can do this quickly and efficiently. We also have to understand where the Instagram algorithm is right now. And the answer is very, very simple. Instagram wants you to do one thing. It wants you to keep people on Instagram as long as possible. Literally, that's it. Instagram just says, if I can keep you on Instagram for as long as possible, I win. So therefore, if you can help me with that by keeping people on Instagram for longer, then you win and I will reward you. So therefore, this idea of playing the algorithm is more about just keep people on Instagram for longer. So the hacks revolve around that. Tip number one, the audio or video DM response. After a while, when people start sending messages and you're sending messages back, your life becomes a stream of just messages to people. I've got my emails, I've got my Facebook, I've got Instagram, everything's DM, then I've got to be in the comments. It's just relentless again and again. But instead of sitting there typing, getting those sore thummies, what about a nice, quick, to the point audio video message? Okay, so firstly, grab your phone, bring up your Instagram, go into your DMs, find the person that you want to DM straight back, and then very simply, all you're going to do is hold down the microphone and just talk your message into it. A bit like this. Dude, thank you so much for buying that book. Let me know what you think. I'd really appreciate your thoughts on it. And also, loving your playing. I think it's absolutely sick, so just keep smashing it. Boom. So that took, 5-10 seconds? So you can get through a lot more messages, but there's something else as well, which is people appreciate that a lot more. All of a sudden, they're hearing your voice, they're seeing your face, just makes it a little bit more personal, and they're more likely to A, appreciate you, respond, and at that point, what are you doing? You are keeping them on Instagram. You're doing the one thing that Instagram wants you to do. You're keeping people on Instagram, whether it's in the DMs, whether it's in the comments, or whether it's scrolling, you're doing your bit. Tip number two is carousels. Now, the reason why carousels are so important goes back to that very first thing of keeping people on Instagram for that few seconds longer. If all of a sudden they see a picture and it says there's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 more pictures within that carousel, what are they going to do? They're going to think about swiping. So you're giving them the option of staying on Instagram and more importantly, staying on your Instagram for that little bit longer. But there's also another great thing with carousels, which is the next day, it will show the second picture within the carousel. So if someone might have missed it or possibly just scrolled straight past it, the next day, 24 hours later, Instagram says, you might have missed the fact that it was a carousel. Let me rejig your memory, and therefore it puts the second picture in front of people. So you get 2 bites at the cherry from one post. Great, so grab your phone, bring up your Instagram, upload all the pictures you want in your carousel, and add your text. Now, the great thing about carousel is it's a really perfect way of telling a story. So let's say, for example, you go and do a gig. All right, maybe not at the moment, but you go and do a gig, you can now document the entire day of the gig, from when you're leaving and traveling to the gig, to the venue that you're playing, to the sound check that you're doing, to backstage, to being on stage, to the post-gig antics, even to getting home. You can put the whole thing and tell one story through 10 different pics, which just makes things more interesting, but it keeps people on your Instagram, which is the absolute key to this video. So you've got your Instagram, you've uploaded everything in order, you've put in your text. From there, off we go. I'm going to add in Brighton, it's quite important, so I'm adding where I am, which is Brighton in the UK, and from there I'm going to hit share, and all of a sudden we've got our post. After that, you can check out your post. All of the information is now in there, so you've got your carousel, which should be in order. So this carousel has got 9 pictures in it, everything's in there. Bish, bash, bosh, nice and simple, job's a good one. Tip number 3 is just to get a little bit more traction on what you are about to post or possibly have just posted. So you're about to post something or you've just posted something. The next thing to do is to go onto your last post, the previous post that you put on there. I want you to go into your comments. Hopefully you have actually put a bunch of comments in there before, but this time what I want you to do is I want you to start hearting people's comments. So yes, you've already replied to them, but what you're doing now is you're just reminding them that you are there. As you can see, what I'm doing now is I'm literally just going through things and I'm just adding a nice little heart, because what that will do is 2 things. Number 1, it will remind them of you, but more importantly, more likely, the picture that you've just put or about to put up will now be in front of them, hopefully first. So it just means that reciprocation is there. It just means you're more likely to actually get a little bit more traction with your picture or your video that you've just posted. Nice and simple tactic, but might give you that extra 10%. Number 4, the mini win for the notification bell. Now we all know that the notification bell is absolutely key, but it's very, very difficult to get lots of people to hit that notification bell so they get another pop-up on their phone. So getting people to follow you is one thing. Getting them to follow you and make sure that they're actually getting that notification bell to be reminded, difficult. So you've got to incentivize them. So how about this? Once a week, you are going to run a competition which just says the first 3 people to comment on my picture will get a shout out, or the first person to comment on my picture will get a shout out. But you have to hit that notification bell, otherwise you don't get that shout out. This shout out could be anything from a shout out to a bit of merch through to you doing something special or value for them. But what you're doing is you're giving that timer. So effectively they need to be reminded, otherwise they are not going to be there. So you hit the notification bell, you comment on my picture, and at that point, the first 1, 2, or 3 people will get a prize. What you're doing is you're bringing people back into Instagram. And who likes that? Instagram. Tip number 5 is an engagement hack. Now we all know that we need to get into the comments or we need to get into the DMs, but it's very time consuming. Also, you're probably aware by now that as soon as you post a picture, it goes up a little bit with the old momentum, but then it starts coming down. That first 30 to 60 minutes after posting something, absolutely crucial for you to be commenting and engaging with people so that as many people see it as possible, because Instagram is always watching and taking in that data. Then after that, the next few hours is still crucial, not quite as crucial. The first 24 hours is really important. The first 48 hours is still important. Then after that, it starts to lose all momentum. So basically, every half an hour that goes past after you've posted your Instagram feed is just a little bit more, or a little bit less momentum is growing. So it's really, really important that you are in the DMs. Problem is that takes a lot of time. Who's got 24 or 48 hours to just keep going backwards and forwards, going another comment, another comment, another comment? It's going to take over your life. But I do have a little hack, a little cheat that hopefully will help you save some time. Okay, so this is a text replacement hack. So bring up your phone, go into settings, hit general. From general, you hit keyboard. For keyboard, you then hit text replacement. Now in text replacement, this means you can now add chunks of text message, which might take you a minute or 2 minutes to actually type out, but you can add a shortcut. So as you can see, I've got a couple of things in here. So things like, thank you so much, I really appreciate that, keep me posted, for example. Now, I'm still reading your comments, I'm still engaging, it's just that it takes me ages to type the same thing again and again. So this is just a shortcut. This means I can type TX instead of, thank you so much, I really appreciate that, keep me posted. So you can just hit that that plus button, and you can type the phrase in that you want to put. So let's say you put in, I hope you are safe and well and not struggling too much with the current situation. Keep smashing it. Damo. X, for example. Now, what I've got there, is a long piece of text, which took me a time to type that out. That might take me 30 seconds to a minute. I don't want to be doing that 20 times. So I might just say, shortcut. Okay, well, I'm going to shortcut this TX4, because I know I've got other TXs. So TX4, thanks for. Save that. That is now in my phone. Now from there, I bring up my Instagram. If I want to reply to Will Gracie _songwriter, I click reply, at which point I put TX4, and as you can see from my phone, all of a sudden the whole thing just goes in. I don't have to type the whole thing out. What an absolute legendary time saver that is. Number 6 on the how to get people to stay on Instagram for as long as possible hacks, which is a terrible title, so we've called it 5-minute hacks, is asking a question. When you make a statement on your Instagram post or on your Instagram story and you say, this is me, or this is us, or this is what I have done, you are saying, here is a statement, to which people go, okay, and they move along. If you ask them a question, all of a sudden you are opening the door and allowing people to take part. So then there's much more likelihood of them commenting. So instead of saying, I am in Brighton, I could say, I'm in Brighton, who's been to Brighton and where should I go to eat? Or what's the best venues in Brighton? Or what bands have come out of Brighton? And the people who know, who've been there, go, oh, I know this, I want to take part, I want to be a part of this, and all of a sudden, they're more likely to jump in and start answering that question, getting engagement, putting stuff in the comments, more importantly, staying on Instagram. And you've done that very, very simply by, instead of putting your hand in the face and saying, stop, that's a statement, you're saying, give me more, come and take part in this game, to which most people will say, I'd like to take part in that game. Tip number 7 is storytelling. People say a picture tells 1,000 words. Yeah, it absolutely does, but why can't you tell that 1,000 words? Or if this is a 5-minute hack, how many words can you type out in 5 minutes when you are posting to Instagram? Why? Because people are more likely to read text if it is actually there. So therefore, you are doing the golden rule, you're keeping people on your Instagram as long as possible. So rather than putting a picture and then saying, it's quite obvious what it is, why not describe the surroundings, describe the story, which, for example, if it's you on stage, rather than just saying, this is us at that venue when we played that gig, you can start and saying, do you know what? We went to that venue, we arrived at 5 o'clock, it was raining outside, but we lugged all our stuff in, very excited to play this venue. This venue's hosted bands like this and this and this, so it's a really prestigious venue. We waited, we got on stage, the crowd were going crazy, we had the best time. Then after that, we met some of you backstage. Thank you so much for everyone who came down, etc., etc., etc. What are you doing? You're buying time. You're buying precious seconds to keep people on your Instagram. So if it's not a story, it might just be the story of that picture. So for example, with the carousel that I posted a few minutes ago, then I've actually put in the text. I've explained what is visually there in the actual pictures. Why? Because people will want to read it. Some people won't, some people will scroll straight past. But what about the people who will read it, that I can keep on Instagram for that few seconds longer? So for that 5 minutes when you're posting something, think about what you can post in the description. Make it that couple of extra seconds to keep people there. Be creative, tell stories about what's in the picture, and more importantly, look after that Instagram algorithm. Tip number 8 is the hashtags, especially in the stories. Now, we're all aware that hashtags are quite important to help you show up to people who aren't already following you on Instagram. So what we're going to do is we are going to put some hashtags in, but there's another little hack, because hashtags are a bit messy. So firstly, I'm going to put in my picture for my story, and I'm going to put in a little title with a question, asking the question, who's practicing today? Question mark. Now at that point, that is going to go there. Maybe I'll just make that a little bit more good. Up the top, that's good. Then after that, I'm going to put in some hashtags. So let's say hashtag musician's life. We'll have that one. Oh, lifestyle. Let's go musician's life. Let's have hashtag music marketing. Oops, music marketing. We'll have that one. Bang. And maybe underneath that we'll have, oops, a daisy. We'll have music marketing tips, for example. There we go, we've got those things in. Problem is as you can see, looks messy. Wherever I put them, just looks a little bit, it just looks a bit try hard, doesn't it? It looks like I'm just trying to get people to follow me and find me. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go up to the little emojis button, and I'm going to put in a little emoji. Oh, what's better than some squirrel playing guitar. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my squirrel right over the top of this. So all of a sudden, look at that. Bish, bash, bosh. No one's there seeing it. Maybe I can even make that a bit lower. Nobody's now seeing it. I've got my squirrel who's playing his guitar. Look at that. Brilliant. Someone's practicing. Who's practicing today? I'm practicing today. Off it goes. Smashed it. Tip number 9, tagging in your area. If you want to stop hearing people saying you've got to make more engaging content, then genius is in the attention to detail. And those details are ways that people can find you and ways that people will stay on your profile. One of those things is tagging the city or the area that you are in when you are posting. And that can be in stories as well as in your feed. Because if someone goes searching for it, you might pop up. So therefore, take advantage of these opportunities that Instagram are laying out for you. It's very, very simple. You just hit the tag button of the city that you're in and off it goes. And tip number 10 is running a poll. When was the last time you ran a poll? You can run polls every single day. People love it because, again, they get to stay involved and keep them on Instagram that bit longer. And how simple is it? It's as simple as this. Firstly, we're going to take a little picture. And then we're going to add in that poll. So from there, we're going to go on to poll. And the question is, are you practicing ... more or less? Oops. So for my audience, are you practicing more or less? From there, I'm just asking people to come and take part in this. I'm getting them to engage. As soon as they engage, Instagram goes, oh yeah, you've been engaging again. I will show your posts to that person the next time they post. So therefore, you're getting in front of them the next time. You're thinking forward. You're thinking about the next post that you're going to be doing. Literally as simple as that. So go forth and grow your Instagram community. It really can be as simple as that. If you've got 5 minutes to spare, pick 1 or 2 of those things and start to implement them. Start to get people to stay on Instagram a little bit longer and stay on your Instagram a little bit longer, and you will start to see results. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I don't know if you noticed, but in that carousel, I talked about a new exclusive community that I've put together, which I'm so excited about. It is a chance for me to actually engage more and work with you on your music. Every single week, I put new courses into the group, and on top of that, I'm doing a couple of Facebook Lives every single week so that I can talk to you, figure out your problems, and we can talk about your strategies, your music, and what you need to do next. So if you want to know more about that, then check out my website, damiankeyes.com/exclusive-community. The link is in the description below. But thanks for watching. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, be a part of this community because we're doing this all the time, and I'm so proud of what we are building. So guys, stay safe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.